You've seen it 100 times in movies and on TV, right? The super smart detective who solves the unsolvable crime with just a hunch. But what if their greatest tool wasn't just intuition? What if it was something you could actually see, measure, and prove? Well, today we're going to dig into exactly what that secret weapon is.
So, let me ask you, when you picture a classic detective, what's their number one go-to tool for cracking a case and finding the truth? If you were thinking of a magnifying glass, you're definitely warm. But we need to think way bigger. Because the real secret weapon, the most powerful tool in any modern investigator's arsenal is, you guessed it, science. To really get what that means, we've got to break down that famous term, forensic science. I know, it sounds a little intimidating, but trust me, once you split the two words apart, it all makes perfect sense. It's actually pretty simple. The science part, that's just what you think it is, using knowledge and technology to figure things out. But forensic? Well, that word comes all the way from the Latin word forensis. So when you put those two pieces together, bam, you get a perfect, crystal clear definition. Forensic science is simply applying scientific methods to legal matters. It's the bridge that connects the crime lab to the courtroom. And get this, that Latin root, forensis, literally means in open court. It's a throwback to the ancient Roman forum, that big public square where they'd argue legal cases right out in the open. So the idea of public justice is baked right into the name. Now, when we say matters of the law, it's not all one big thing. There are actually two main arenas where forensic science steps into the ring: criminal law and civil law. On one side, you have criminal law. This is the heavy stuff, serious crimes against society that the police investigate, where the punishment might be jail time. But then you've got civil law, which is all about disputes between people or companies, and it usually ends with a financial penalty, not a prison sentence. So, to make it really clear, criminal cases are things like murder, robbery, or kidnapping, the stuff you see in crime shows. Civil cases, on the other hand, might be a little less dramatic, but they're super important. We're talking about things like arguments over property lines, somebody challenging a will, or even sorting out assets during a divorce. Okay, so we know where forensic science is used, but what is it really made of? Well, it's not just one thing. Think of it more like a giant, specialized toolkit for finding the truth. Yeah, the best way to picture it is as a huge umbrella. And underneath that umbrella, there's this incredible collection of different scientific fields, all pointing toward one goal: analyzing evidence for the legal system. And the range of specialties is just amazing. You've got forensic biologists who can pull a DNA profile from a tiny drop of blood, chemists who can tell you what that weird powder is or what was used to start a fire. In today's world, digital forensics experts are absolute heroes, pulling evidence off smashed phones and computers. And that's not even counting the anthropologists who identify human bones, the experts who can spot a fake signature, or the psychologists who get inside a criminal's mind. It's incredible. All right, get ready for a fascinating twist. You'd probably assume this whole scientific field got its start in some university lab, right? Or maybe a police department. But what if I told you that its big break came from somewhere totally unexpected? That's right. The spark that really got the public and professionals excited about forensic science, it wasn't a research paper. It was a story. Check this out. In 1887, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle creates Sherlock Holmes. It was only after this made-up character hit the scene that a lot of the methods he used in the books started to get seriously adopted by real-life law enforcement. Fiction was literally leading the way for fact. In his stories, Holmes was a total pioneer. He was all about fingerprinting, analyzing blood spatters, examining documents for forgeries, and looking at footprints. These are the cornerstones of modern forensics, and he was doing it all in fiction before it was even common practice in the real world. I mean, as our source material says, Sherlock Holmes excited the imagination of generations of forensic scientists. This character didn't just solve fictional crimes. He inspired real people to go out and invent the future of crime solving. So when you boil it all down, it really comes down to this. Every single piece of evidence left behind at a crime scene has a story. Forensic science is the language we've developed to hear that story and tell it to a jury. It gives a voice to witnesses that can't speak. And that just leaves us with this one awesome question to think about. As our technology keeps getting smarter, with AI, with crazy new genetic sequencing, what new stories is that evidence going to tell us in the future? What secrets are just sitting there, waiting for us to finally learn their language?